Good morning, evening, afternoon. Today we're playing Echoes, a Lucid9 fan game. Previously, I started my little meeting with Irie from Lemnitz Gate. She's a DCIS agent, and Miki, who is the heiress to the is a Black Star something. So yeah, and I took Misaki's side. I called her Miki, didn't I? and we talked about trying to get more factories to make immune serum, and now we're getting down to the nitty gritty that something else is happening, and Agent Hirika is about to tell us right this second. All right, let's get started. Agent Hirika unlocks a satchel, a small digital tablet, and places it on the meeting room table. Our agents stationed in District 6 have discovered evidence of a growing insurrectionist movement based in the area. One that we believe is behind the destruction of numerous corporate facilities. I've already shared the data they've collected with Miss Kazuhaya, and in the interest of good faith, I see no need to withhold that data from you, Operative. After all, I'm sure you're wondering what I did with that body camera footage you gave us. Observe. Agent Hirika leans in and proceeds to scroll through the tablets. Why did I say tablet like that? The tablets photo library, eventually pulling her arm away to reveal. Wait. Is that a face? Thanks to WaveForward's multi-frequency LiDAR optics, our facial recognition algorithm had more to work with than we expected. I doubt the people who designed your armor would tell you this, but it's configured to scan everything. Evidently, it even exposes details beyond the reach of thermal imaging. We cross-referenced your storage card's telemetry with records collected by our automated recon drones and found something quite interesting. 12 other people who attacked your convoy were missing persons, identified as known critics of the meritocracy based on the surveillance data we collected from their devices prior to their departure, of course. Once we can perform an autopsy on the corpses, the Special Services Division so generously provided for us will know for sure. Let's just hope the ones still clinging to life can be identified after they're interrogated. Many of my colleagues use the tools the department issues to them quite zealously. Zealous isn't the word I would use. Wait, so people are being harsh to her people because they're a bit zealous, but they're like chill with DCIS? Okay. Kettle, pot, just saying. Miss Kazuhaya, These are trying times. You're free to criticize our lack of honor, but I hope you recognize that these people lost their right to be treated with dignity as soon as they violently rejected the legitimate authority of the state. They've even begun to turn impressionable civilians to their cause. Take these symbols, for example. Agent Hiriga gestures towards a photograph depicting a brick wall with something spray painted on it. At first, it appears to be a street mural, but upon closer inspection, I noticed that some of the negative space form a string of kanji, or at least something that looks like it. The characters themselves appear to be meaningless, but the shape they're arranged seems just irregular enough to be deliberate. We have yet to decipher these pictographs completely, but due to their tendency to be modified before a violent incident, DCIS suspects that they're being used as some sort of coordinating measure for unlawful assemblies. Under normal circumstances, Black Star could likely do something about these incidents, but Ms. Kazahaya tells me that these insurrectionists are more resourceful than she anticipated. I have nothing to tell you except the truth, agents. Just before an attack, they disrupt our security grid and communications at multiple points. The area's typically too large for our patrols to cover, and even if we had enough authority to spare, command would be able to get any orders to the dark zone. I can't imagine that's the worst of it. It's not. Agent Hirga leads an audio file onto her tablet. 2 days ago, one of Kazahaya Combine's vehicle yards was destroyed by an IED. Someone working with the perpetrators planned several high-volume loudspeakers on the rooftops near the incident site, and 2 of our agents managed to record the message that was played off of them. Listen to this.
People of Isamu, if you're able to hear this message, we ask that you listen carefully while you still can. This meritocracy has ensnared many of you in the same baseless deception, the same empty promises of prosperity and freedom from hardship. You may still believe that its authority is legitimate, that you're working toward something greater, but ask yourself this: why are you censored when you admit that you're still suffering? Do you honestly believe that benevolent government would allow you to your drinking water to be tainted by industrial byproducts, or leave 6 million of its own citizens without a source of income? Would just state would a just state deny us access to the human rights of education and healthcare, sold to all of us at a premium, while its mayor is paid a salary of 10 trillion in every year just to give speeches behind bulletproof glass? Would the working class even have a say in government if it required a small fortune to run for office, or if any law proposed could be rejected without ceremony by a council of our richest and most powerful? And most of all, would a government that cared for our safety force us to disappear in the night for saying that they had failed to grant us that safety? The answer is no. They never cared about us, not even enough to listen to what we had to say. When we couldn't work, they demanded that we work harder, and all the while they refused to provide the means to even our most vulnerable. Right now, 99.9% of Isamu's population makes below the national average of 10 million yen per year, while the global corporate elite pulls every string in government that's supposed to serve us, to provide for us. Those settled comfortably within the closely guarded walls of District 1 thought they could ignore us while they systematically stripped away our rights and freedoms. For a time that may have been true, but not anymore. While the multinational conglomerates based in this city may dominate your lives, they have one critical weakness. They value propriety more. They value property more than they value a state that takes care of its people. We know that once we take what they care about from them, the government will refuse to negotiate with us, but they will take notice. However, while they blindly label us as an enemy of the people, they'll continue to stomp on your neck like they always have. Tell them that we are the Isamu Liberation Front, and we've come to take back the future they've stolen from us. Words do nothing. We will have justice. ...
This message repeated for 5 minutes before we managed to shut it off. We intervened as rapidly as we could in order to contain this mindless slander, but in the time we took to mobilize, hundreds of hundreds or perhaps even thousands of local residents could have been disinformed by it. As you might have already inferred, the terror organization behind the attacks on our corporations, facilities, and presumably your serum transport calls themselves the Isamu Liberation Front. A failed attempt to make the insidious nature of their conduct, to be sure. Even if a fraction of the cause is justified, they declared themselves enemies of Isamu when they began attacking us. As sordid a task as it is to neutralize those who once served the state, their campaign of destruction must be halted before it takes the lives of any more innocent citizens. Our darknet probes have verified that the voice you just heard belongs to one of their field commanders, known to some of his or her fellow insurrectionists by the codename Spear. We don't know who this Spear is, aside from the fact that they're regarded as a competent strategist and natural leader by their fellow terrorists. DCIS typically classifies individuals based on the Civil Safety Index, a system of threat levels that's used to denote how dangerous they are to Isamu and its people. Those who draw no attention from our civil analysts are classified as D-level threats by default, whereas those who do, whether for crime, suspicious activity, or general instability, are assigned as a threat level of C, B, or in severe cases, A. Beyond that, however, are the S-class threat levels, assigned to violent or dangerous individuals who have been marked to be neutralized by one or more of our strike teams. The IS threat, the 1S threat level indicates that an individual has been marked for neutralization by one strike team, typically 6 of our most elite agents. 25 indicates that 2 strike teams have been sent to neutralize them, and so on. The individual known as Spear has been assigned the threat level of 10S, the first of their class. So you have 60 people trying to kill them. It pleases me to see that you are capable of basic arithmetic. It seems as if your men are growing desperate to locate this Spear, agents. If you're intent on defending this city, yourself, I hope enough of your forces have been allocated to it. Allocation of force is not one of my duties, Miss Kazahaya. However, I'll continue to deliver the relevant tactical information to the officials, who is even as redundant as any new information would be to her. Now then, operative, Miss Kazuhaya. If there's nothing else, looks like you've had a productive conversation, Lucid9. I hope my presence wasn't any more of an obstruction than you could manage. Forgot you were there, actually. Excellent. Blissfully unaware. I can never really tell if he's joking. Regarding the proposition that DCIS agent made, however, are you certain that volunteering to work for them is a good idea? Someone in heels is coming over. It sounds like it's not. Oh, it's you. I apologize for confronting you like this, operatives. But if you're serious about working with us, you're not going to get anywhere with the government's hired spies breathing down your neck. What do you suggest then? With stakes as high as these, you can't afford to get mixed up in politics, especially the kind of spineless, needlessly convoluted politics DCIS employs on a regular basis. The most logical solution is to bypass them completely. If you want Black Star and the rest of the companies to assist you, you'll need to go directly to District 3 and speak with the higher-ups. More specifically, you'll need to speak with the higher-ups. The higher-up. And she just so happens to be interested in your proposition. If you're willing to travel to 3, I'm willing to have you flown in. Just please keep in mind that you'll be traveling to a region with a vastly different social structure, one that most Bugeisha choose to avoid when they have no business with us. Of course, you know who I am. You'll know that anyone traveling with me is unlikely to be troubled by local authorities. Come to think of it, your face does look familiar. You wouldn't happen to be Misaki Kazuhaya, would you? The Misaki Kazuhaya of Kazuhaya family. Oh, the Misaki Kazuhaya of the Kazuhaya family fame. Part of the supreme model and heiress. Part-time supreme model. It is Miki, isn't it? She looks different. And I'm using a completely different voice than I used when she was in the game. That's fine. It's whatever. And the heiress to one of the most powerful industrial conglomerates of all time. Well, you are. It's great. Well, you are. Well, if you are, it's a great honor to meet you in person. I'm quite the
appreciator of your work. Do you by any chance remember the time a certain account gave you a 300,000 in tip on OnlyFans? Ah, yes. E-girl respecter 2002. A true man of culture. Let me know if you'd like a refund for that one. He sour beams. I'm afraid to ask what OnlyFans is, but its name implies that it has to be constrained by quite a few public decency regulations. Anyway, as much as I'd like to thank you for your support, we're getting a bit off topic. If you'd like me to bring you to District 3, it might be a good idea to inform your commanding officer beforehand. I can't imagine they'd be too thrilled if you violated orders. Don't worry about orders, operative. The chairman just gave you permission to travel to 3 a few seconds ago. In fact, looks like I'm not the only one tapped into your audio feed. Just do me a favor and try to keep the debauchery to a minimum. Alright? As exciting as District 3 is, the cocaine and soap lands are still going to be there the next time you're not on active duty. Will do, ma'am. Alright, then. Happy contrails. What? Good luck in 3, Lucid Cell. And try not to piss off Satomi. We need as many allies as we can get. Lucid 1 out. Who's Satomi? And I hope we don't piss Satomi off. Let me know when you're ready to leave. I'll have the Kawakami deploy its shuttlecraft to come pick us up. I'm all for it. What about you, 9? I nod. Let's get this over with. So be it. Kawakami, this is Misaki Kazahaya. Detach your shuttle and prepare to take us up. We're ready. Continue. Well, that's an unpleasant noise. You can take that helmet off, Rui. I know it's you. That obvious? Okay, so see, I was like, it's Misaki. It has to be Miki, but then I'm like, because Rui's like not acknowledging this. It's not Miki, so it is Miki. Okay, I'm glad that I'm right. The obvious? Black Star Intelligence keeps me informed on your activities. Technically, my mother does, but we don't need to talk about her. I've heard that Way Forward's been breaking quite a lot of ground lately.
The people you work for are lucky to have you as part of their team, and you must be as happy as they are to be a part of it. Well, now that Miki has been revealed as Miki, we'll see how it goes in the next episode. Hopefully better. Hopefully you don't piss off Satomi. We'll see if we piss off Satomi.